Okay, today we're going to do our version of pepper steak. We've got sirloin that we're going to cut into strips. We've got a teaspoon of sugar. We've got a beef bouillon cube that right now is dissolving in about a cup of water. We've got green bell peppers straight from our garden, and red bell peppers, and onions. A can of Hunt stewed tomatoes, needs to be stewed. We're going to use a little bit of cornstarch, garlic powder. We got some soy sauce and a little bit of vegetable or canola oil. And that's it. This is an easy recipe and easy to do. We are going to make a side of rice to pour it all on top of when we get ready to eat, and that's just regular white rice. Okay, now we're going to brown the sirloin that we cut into strips, try to make them fairly uniform. And they're browning in just regular canola oil. You can use vegetable oil as well, whatever you've got. We're going to brown each side and seal in the juicy goodness by doing it this way. We're going to add just a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper. Just to season a little bit. And the oil's getting hot now. Okay, and we're going to brown it and we'll be back to you in a minute. Okay, we're cooking it really good, getting it really brown. It's basically cooking the steak all the way through. That way later when it's simmering with all the rest of the vegetables and juices, it becomes extremely tender. So all of the juice that comes off of the meat while it's browning is cooking away, which is what we want. Okay, now it's good and brown on all sides. So we're ready to add everything else, and this is going to be so easy because you basically just dump it in the pot. I'm going to add the red bell pepper, the onions, they're coarsely chopped, I like big chunks, and a green bell pepper, it's ready.
Colorful. I like that.
Now I'm going to add some garlic powder, and you can do this to taste. We like a lot of garlic, but if you don't, then just put less, but it's good flavoring. A can of stewed tomatoes. All the juice goes in, you don't drain it. Okay, and here is the cup of water that had the beef bouillon cube dissolving in it, and I've also added a heaping teaspoon of the cornstarch and stirred it up to dissolve it. That just thickens it up. If you don't happen to have any cornstarch, don't worry about it. Just make it anyway and it'll thicken up. And then it calls for a teaspoon of sugar, but depending on how I feel when I make this, sometimes I don't put the whole teaspoon because I don't like it to be real sweet. And then next we're going to have 3 tablespoons of soy sauce. Okay, so we've added all of our ingredients. I'm going to stir it up real good. You could do the same thing in a crock pot and let it go all day, but it really cooks so fast that it's easy just to do it on top of the stove. Then you're going to cover it. I'm going to cover it. And you're going to put it down on simmer. You're just going to let this go for about 30 minutes, come back and check it. I know it's done when I can cut the meat in half without using a knife, just with my fork or spoon or whatever, and I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, this has been going for about 20 minutes. See, the peppers have all cooked down, the onion. Still needs to go a little bit longer. I like to have the meat really tender. In the meantime, we've cooked up a batch of rice. It's nice and fluffy over here that it's all going to land on. All going to sit on. You're probably wondering where Troy is. Well, even a good cook likes to have his wife cook him a meal every once in a while, so that's what's happening tonight.
Hell yeah.
Okay, we're going to let this go for about 10 more minutes and we'll check it then. Okay, so it's been going about another 10-15 minutes here. It looks great. And I like the sauce to be thin like this, but if you want it to be a little bit thicker, you can add a little bit more cornstarch. I prefer it just this way. And the meat is just as tender as it can be, and it's cutting through with the spoon. Looks good. This is ready to go. Serve it over rice.